an event that's taken a long time to happen. Many people have been waiting for this for many years. None of us have ever seen one of these in our lifetimes. People are talking about it all around the world. You know, all the classics, all the classic sayings. The theme of the weekend was three: coronation of King Charles III. First time we've ever seen a British monarch coronated in our lifetime. Guys, here on the British Guys, how you guys doing?
Yeah, we're gonna have to restart.
No, that's not the justified intro.
We're gonna have to
we-
restart.
It's the most beautiful event I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, man.
I'm so glad I got to witness it.
We need a restart.
I guys, not gonna lie, I was thinking of that all day. I was like, this is perfect intro for tonight's episode. But no, seriously, starting an event that none of us have seen. Napoli finally winning the Scudetto on Thursday, number 3, just like King Charles III. Live on YouTube here on the Calcio Guys. Gianni, Adriano, I'm Nicholas. Joining us, our guest of many times over, Carm from Napoli Club Toronto. Carm, how's it going?
Where do I begin? I feel so. I've been on cloud 9 for like the last week and a bit now, so that should just give you an idea as to how I'm feeling right now.
Well, guys, if anybody's not watching the replay of this on YouTube or live with us right now, Carm smile from ear to ear, guys. He's been smiling, he's been chanting, he's been singing all weekend long. If you guys haven't seen it on social media at Napoli Club Toronto, guys, it's been quite a spectacle. I guess before Carm, we get into everything. You know how the show goes. Just I guess your initial just reactions. How was the weekend for you? We saw it. A lot of people definitely saw it. We saw you also have a bit of an appearance on TLN as well. Mm-hmm. Interviewed by our boy Michele Bruzzese from the Bello Bros as well. Just tell us, Carm, from long story to short, what happened over the weekend and how happy are you?
Oh man, it's been a not even just from this weekend, but it's been a stressful 2 weekends consecutive. Just waiting on, because okay, let's face it, the Scudetto was packed up and done by January. We were just waiting for it to be official at that point. So yes. we were just every week we talk about it and plan. We're like, okay, guys, what are we gonna do? We got to make when the game that they win. We got to make it a special day. We got to organize something. Yada yada yada. Finally, Napoli Salernitana happens with the miracle that happened just before that with Inter Lazio, where Inter is down the entire game and then scores 3 goals in the last 10 minutes of the game. Absolute miracle. Everything planned out perfectly. We're playing Salernitana. We have an amazing track record against Salernitana. We set up this whole event. 120-ish people show up, to watch the game. And 9 a.m. on a Sunday, 120 people show up to watch the game. We had a DJ. We had a whole lunch menu set up for after the game. Fireworks, flares, everything. We had everything set up beautifully. And then Buladia at the 84th minute, just this guy. A worldie of a goal. Like
it was I couldn't even be mad when I saw that. I was like, yeah, no, he deserves that.
So TLN was actually, funny enough, TLN was there because that was the day they were supposed to film our reaction winning. So they were there already, like filming all that interviews. And you can see it on my face. I don't know if they caught it, but Diaz, he scores the goal, and if you look deep in the background, you just see me go like this. What do you do about this?
Shrug of the shoulders.
Yeah, you're like, what are you gonna do? It's classic Napoli, right? Like everything plans out perfectly, except for Napoli showing up. Like that's the one factor that they always miss. But anyways, yeah. So we're like, okay, whatever happened, it happened. We move on. Now we move on to Thursday. Okay, Thursday is gonna be the day. It's a work day. Like what can you do? We did a meet. Yeah. We won. When we won that day, that was like, it didn't register. We tied Udinese. We celebrated. We cried. We sang. We laughed. We did whatever. But it didn't fully register at the time that we won. Like this is it. The Campeonato was done, and we won it with 5 games to spare. And it didn't hit me until the next morning. I woke up. I think the adrenaline took me over too, right? Like you don't feel anything at that time, you're elated. I woke up around 6 a.m. and without any prompts, I just start crying. I just start bawling my eyes out because I woke up and it finally clicked. Like, Napoli won. I've waited my entire life, since the day I was born. I've waited my entire life for this one moment, and it happened. And it all just it all came together then. And 6 a.m. I'm still in bed. I just gotten up, bawling my eyes out. And even thinking about it now, I'm getting emotional because, we've been through some really tough times. Me, not so much. I've suffered through some tough times being a Napoli fan, but I wasn't alive or remember much of the Serie B days, much less the Serie C days. That wasn't even a thought during the Maradona days. So, I don't know the entire experience, but I know a portion of it really, really well. Whatever happened in 2018 and so on and so forth. So, yeah, it was just from that day forward, it finally clicked. And every time I just think about it randomly, I'll be walking down the street, comes to my head, Napoli won the Scudetto, I'll start tearing up and start crying about it because it's like, it finally, after all this hardship and frustration over the years, it finally came to fruition. We finally see what we wanted to see. And there's no words to describe this type of feeling other than pure happiness.
Carm, I think I'm gonna have to relate.
Guys,
to
I'm just gonna interrupt.
How dare you?
I'm just gonna interrupt Danny. We're
having a moment here.
We do have a substitution to make. I don't know if someone has to get kicked out. No one has to get kicked out. But we do have Peter Scala joining us. First time ever on our podcast, and it's during a live after Napoli wins the Scudetto. So, Peter, welcome. Hi, nice to meet you. Hi. And how's it going, man?
I mean, Napoli are the champions of Italy, so it's going great.
Sarò con te, tu non devi volare. Siamo sogno nel cuore, Napoli torna campione. Oh.
Yeah, I got my sister's background there.
Love it.
Oh, it's a party. I mean, every time you used to win, we saw freaking Nick. Siamo noi, i campioni dall'Italia, siamo noi.
I don't think I can do anymore. I almost lost my voice yesterday, so I'm trying to save it a bit for right now.
I'll save my little story because I want to give Pete the floor. Pete, please. Since it's your first time, obviously. Well, right now we're on the topic of the emotions of Napoli. So give us a bit of your Napoli history and what the Scudetto means for you, man.
Well, before I started meeting a lot of people on Twitter, I thought my path to become a Napoli fan was kind of unique, but it turns out a lot of people started out this way. When I was younger, I actually was an AC Milan fan.
Hey, Pete.
Beautiful, Peter.
Obviously Napoli. I didn't really have much interest in soccer until my dad bought me for Christmas one year. He got me a GameCube with the 2002 FIFA World Cup video game on it, and my favorite player on that to play with was Filippo Inzaghi. So from there, I just started to learn more about Milan. I got FIFA 05, learned the players.
FIFA 05 classic game, one of the best ones.
It was very good. But so I just started to root from there, from Milan. Fast forward, Napoli makes it to back to Serie A. I'm still a Milan fan, but obviously my father's from Naples. He's rooting for Napoli. I have no ill will towards Napoli. I don't remember the Milan game I was watching, but I remember hearing. I was Milan versus somebody, and I heard chants about Vesuvio. And I don't really understand Italian that well, but obviously I understand Vesuvio, you know, the volcano in Naples. So I'm like, Dad, what are they chanting about? And you know, we all know the chant. So my dad kind of explained to me the history of all that, and so then from there I was like, well, that's kind of messed up, and obviously like my blood is Neapolitan, so from there I just made the switch to Napoli. I haven't looked back. You know, it was ever since I made the switch, it's been kind of like Milan was good and Napoli wasn't that good, but I decided to support Napoli, and then slowly Napoli started to get better. So that was nice, but we still were always, you know, always the bridesmaid, never the bride. And in 2022, me and Gaetano Salazzo, who's been on here before, decided to join, create Tri-State Napoli Club. And just the next season after that, we win the Scudetto. So it's been pretty awesome.
You guys need to find more clubs then.
You guys got to fold. You guys got to fold and then redo your club next year, so you guys can continue winning and have a continuous cycle of winning for Napoli. But
hey, if that's what it takes.
If that's what it takes, exactly, you're gonna have to do it. But now that you're on, Peter, and I wanted to kind of ask Carm the question too after his what he had said earlier in the show. Seeing that you guys have integral parts in Napoli fan clubs, in the tri-state area and obviously in Toronto, how much more does it mean to have be a part of a family that I've seen through social media, that you guys really have created such a bond with your fellow members, with your fellow friends in the area, outside the area? How much more special does this Scudetto make it that you can celebrate not only within the people within your four walls, but kind of broadening those horizons and really celebrating this as a big extended family?
Oh,
Peter,
it means that much.
First.
It means that much more to me. Growing up, it was pretty much always me and my dad watching soccer, and we didn't really have anyone else besides us. Then Twitter comes along, and we kind of start to meet more people. You get more friends, and then we started the club. You meet people in person, you grow these friendships. I mean, even Carmen, those guys in Toronto, they came to one of our meets for the Napoli Roma. Yeah. And it's just like, even though it was the first time we met each other, it felt like we've known each other forever. So just, obviously the highlight of Napoli winning the Scudetto for me was getting to watch it with my dad and that immediate reaction afterwards. But we met as a club as well on Thursday, and just, the guys who've been there for the past 2 seasons watching, all these games, some have gone our way, some haven't. And just, we've been through the grind together. It's, it's as wonderful as the club is, and I'm so grateful for it. It can be, kind of tedious sometimes, especially I live kind of far away from where we meet. It's, it's a grind sometimes, but it's, you do it together, and you become a family, and to be able to do it with my family has been wonderful. In fact, since I joined the club, my mom, who didn't really care about soccer before, she started coming. She's invested now. Just, wow. My sister, she comes to stuff. So just have my immediate family with that too. It means everything. That's the one thing that I really love about my club is we have, men, women, children, family, wives, they, everybody comes, and it's just, it's family first there. So it's what my favorite thing about my club is.
Real life, all in the family.
Carm, as Presidente, I know this touches on you a bit harder, but I guess the question echoes towards you, my friend. How does that make it more special being part of, not only being part of, but creating something in your city and seeing the fruitions come from it?
I mean, yeah, it's really like, sometimes I kind of take it for granted, like the community that we have, and it finally, this win made me realize that it's so much more than what we all expected and think it to be. I remember back in 2018 when Napoli was on that title charge. Like Pete said, it would just be me and my dad. And I remember one day it was Napoli Verona, and Diawara scored that last 90th minute goal, and I had to write an exam that day. I was late to my own exam because my dad and I in our basement yelling and celebrating, high-fiving each other. And I thought, even after the Koulibaly goal too, saying that same thing, having that experience, it's nice, but you always want to experience it with other like-minded people. You have to think somewhere in this city, there's got to be more of us. And creating the club in 2019 and going through COVID and trying to keep it alive during COVID, coming out of it, getting getting more people into the club, having all these events. Like Pete said, it gets tedious at times. For Sunday, on Saturday afternoon, we spent 6.5 hours, Sereno and I, decorating the bar for the next day. I mean, like, it takes a lot of time and a lot of dedication. It's a lot of frustration too. Sometimes things don't go the way you want it to go. Sometimes, you get into, not, I wouldn't say arguments, but like discussions, and you got to plan things and make sure everyone's okay, and it's a lot of responsibilities. But taking it all into consideration, we're doing it for one goal, and the goal is to get all Neapolitans together. It's like Pete said, it's a family-oriented community. We have husbands, wives, children, nieces, nephews, everyone comes in, and we leave nobody out. It doesn't even matter if you're Neapolitan or not. We accept anyone who's a fan of Napoli and a fan of football. Anyone is welcome. And having that space to bring together like-minded people and create long-lasting friendships. I mean, like Sereno and I, we've never known each other prior to 2019. We're best of friends right now. Steph and I, best of friends. Danny and I, best of friends. Vin, Bertillo, like we every day we talk to each other. Prior to 2019, we didn't have that. And now we've made everlasting connections, and not just myself, but everyone else in the club. I see people exchanging numbers all the time. They call me, we'll get dinner sometimes, yada, yada, yada. Like, you create such a tightly knit community, and it's that is what keeps us going, and celebrating the Scudetto with everyone who felt the same way we did. Now having this space to party in and to communicate in, that's the best thing I had ever done in my life, and I don't regret any one bit of anything I did along the way to get there. So, yeah.
Wow, and I do want to, real quick, I do want to say for Carm, there wouldn't, there was this year we noticed there has been a huge influx of Napoli fan support groups, and that wouldn't happen without Carm. When we started, he was a huge mentor to us. Don't shake your head. He was
humble Carm.
He was a huge mentor to us. He helped in any way that he could, and I know he's done that for other people. So a lot of the growth you've seen on Napoli wouldn't be happening without him. So he deserves his flowers.
It's a collective. I don't want to take all the responsibility for it, but yeah, I mean, we all work with each other. At the end of the day, Napoli clubs aren't like any other clubs in the world that I find. We are really close with each other and help each other out in any way we can think possible, even though we have distance of 1,000 kilometers between me and Pete, but we are constantly talking every day and helping each other out. So that's another aspect of the club culture that I take for granted sometimes too. But once, when you sit down and think about it, you become really grateful for everything that you've done for people and everything that they've done for you.
Johnny, you haven't told us what this means. I mean, you've been a fan for the longest. You were born 2 years after the last Scudetto, so you heard all about it from Nonno Luigi.
Yeah.
But now the first time you get to see it, you have to tell us.
I mean, like, my journey is somewhat similar to Pete's, where it's like, as a kid, Napoli wasn't the team that it was today, where, like, it was just more like you supported a different club. But across my house and stuff, there was still the emblem and the logo. My nonno still had like a big pennant hanging from his car with the 2 Scudetti and the 1 UEFA Cup that they won, and a nice little design. Now we have to get that updated. But like, I was always aware of it. I knew of it and how much it meant to my nonno. But at the end of the day, I was like, okay, cool, like, that's a team. But then afterwards, I think it just came at the right time. I think honestly, like the way it happened was that it was the mid 2000s. YouTube started becoming a thing, and Serie B started uploading highlights on it, and like just from seeing them just like do that climb, become the club that they were, it's hard not to develop that love for the team and like that underdog feeling. You're like, come on, right? And they always come so close, and they always come so close, and you just never get it, and it hurts, and it's more like the point where it's like you kind of become a bit of a joke, or you become a bit like not a bit of a joke, but you hear the teasing and the little jokes and the comments from other fan bases and stuff, and at the end of the day, hey, they can say that because their team would win or whatever, but I wanted to touch upon with Karm before, where it's like it never the way I relate it to is like the way like when the Bruins won the cup in 2011, like a small like I like there are a lot of Bruins fans in Montreal, but I didn't really have Bruins fans that were friends to watch the game with. And when the night that they won the Stanley Cup, I was basically in the basement of my friend's place, who was just a casual hockey fan, but I was just by my own like happy and like yay, but it never sank in until the fact that like when I went to Boston for the parade, just for some reason, just the first player to ignite that feeling like holy shit, we won the fucking cup, was seeing Michael Ryder with the Stanley Cup, and I was like, what the out of all players, it's just it's and it's just like it doesn't sink in until I think it's the same thing with Napoli, where it's like when the day that they won, I was super freaking happy, and like my friends are sending me videos, group chats are going off, everyone's like saying a bunch of things, and it's beautiful. And my friends are sending me clips, and I see it visually, the players on the pitch and everything. But I don't know, like I'm still in awe. I don't know how to describe it. Like I even spoke to even seeing my nono and talking to my nono about it. Like he's happy. Don't get me wrong. It just hasn't clicked. I don't know I think it's the moment they lift the trophy. That's when it's gonna start being like, holy shit, like when you see it actually, like the title race is done. It's official. They won. They're champions. But you have to wait for that moment for the trophy lift. That's when the emotions go off. Like because for full disclosure for the viewers, I didn't get a chance to see this weekend's game because I had a freaking busy Sunday and a freaking busy Saturday. Being 30 years old, kids are happening, people are getting married and shit, so life
your
happens.
Kid, Johnny, your kid.
Let me find a girlfriend first. Fuck. but in all seriousness, but in all seriousness, so I didn't get a chance to see, but there was a moment at the end of the highlight video where in front of the Maradona, you see people filled in the streets with the flares and everything, and the whole city is just alive. And it's just, after being there this spring and knowing what that environment is like, I actually started I paused the video just to soak it in, and kind of and mentally kind of place myself there. And just I got overwhelmed just by doing a visual representation in my mind. So you when you're in there and you're in the moment, it's gonna hit. Obviously, us right now being across the Atlantic, across the pond, just so far away from it, we're some of us has started to get that feeling that holy shit, Napoli are champions. But I honestly think for me personally, the moment they lift the Scudetto is basically going to be it's going to be the moment where they fucking finally did it. They finally
the engraving also, when they write the name in, that's tough.
Because it's just to put it into words, it's not just the journey of Osimhen. It was a thing that started from the days of Quagliarella. He was one of the obviously Lavezzi and Hamsik were one of the first few stars that they came up with from Serie B, but Quags was that first big name that they had, and he was a Napolitan. He was a Napoli boy, born and raised, and it was and the way his his time with Napoli had to end was unfortunate because he was in his prime. He was he was raring to go, and it just, the shit that he had to deal with was unfortunate. And when they flipped him and the money that they got, they basically bought Cavani. From there, it was a buildup. Once Cavani leaves, that money, you get Higuain, you get Mertens, and then later on, I think also with the Cavani money, that's when they also got no. Hold on, it was Mertens.
Jorginho?
They got Jorginho. No, Jorginho. I think was a little bit after. No.
It was after.
Yeah, but then from Higuain, you flip him. You got players like Koulibaly. No, Koulibaly was part of the with the Cavani money. No.
No. Well, Cavani got sold, and they bought
Mertens,
Higuain, and I can't remember.
But just the names that came through in those jerseys, these and then after having your own boy like Insigne goes through the ranks and stuff, and the amount of struggles that he went through with the pressure of playing for the main team and how he tried his best, couldn't do it, and just finally they, it's a culmination of a lot of things. It's not just a one-off, like a one-team season thing. This was like a build-up of so many names and feet that filled those freaking cleats that took the pitch at the Maradona, that they tried their best to create a history, like a story for the city of Napoli. They couldn't do it. And now, it just put together, they were able to finally do it. And this is the result of it. It's not just Osimhen, Kvaratskhelia, Lozano, Politano, freaking Kim, et al. Like, I'm not going to name the whole roster. It's basically the whole history since coming up to Serie A that they finally achieved their goal that they wanted to do, and hopefully they can continue from there. That's what it is. It's Napoli showing that we're not just some southern team. And, like in history-wise, you can't compare it to Milan, Inter, or Juve, one of the big three. And history-wise, you can't compare. Even though they do have some respectable hardware, history-wise, you can't compare. But history is the past. The past is the past. And you respect it. 110% respect it. You respect it 110%. But you also need to look at the present and forward. And in the recent history, in the recent time and currently and moving forward, Napoli showing that they're not just some, bum backwater team. They're a team that says, hey, we can hang out with the big boys. We're here to show that we're not just some small team you can push around. We're going to become, in terms of financials, in terms of what they can do internationally, a quote-unquote big team. History-wise, sure. But if you look at it from what they have done, and what they plan on doing, they're trying to become bigger than what they are, and this I hope is I hope, keyword hope, is the first step to a bigger journey in the future.
How many Scudetti in a row do they win, or is this one off?
No, it's not a one-off, but you can't say that they're going to win that many in a row.
Yeah,
it's about windows. How many can you win in this window of Osimhen and Kvaratskhelia together? That's
perfectly said.
I agree. I mean, like you said, like Johnny just put it perfectly. Football, as a sport, ebbs and flows. Football is always, you never know what's going to happen next. It ebbs and flows, and sometimes when you caught on a high, that high can last for years. It can last for a couple months. You don't know what's going to happen, but like you said, you have to work in windows, and I think Napoli just created a perfect window for themselves. The rest of Serie A, they've been caught lacking a little bit, and Napoli took advantage of it. It's just a matter of the fact. Juve, you don't see this Juve in years past. You don't see this Milan in years. Well, Milan had a bit of a struggle in the mid.
Yeah. Let's not talk about that, Carm.
Normally, you don't see more like this.
Even Inter a little bit. But those teams,
it's uncharacteristic of them. Let's just say
uncharacteristic of these teams to be not performing to their potential, and Napoli have taken advantage of that. They've realized the weaknesses in their direct opponents. They know financially they can't compete. They can't. They can't compete. Well, you said in terms of history, financially, because let's face it, there's a bit of a divide between northern teams and southern teams. Even northern like Fiorentina still have some more resources available to them than Napoli does. So when you take all these factors into consideration, Napoli plays the best. They play their best outcomes with the cards that they are dealt. And De Laurentiis and Giunta, they are masters of it at this point. It's been 20 years of them leading up to this point, and they've had a plan along the way. When De Laurentiis bought the team in 2004 for 32 million euros, he said within 10 years we'll get you back to European championship. He did it in less than 10. And then he said, okay, we're going to be a competitive team for the next 5. Competitive team for the next 5. They've been on track for every goal that they've hit along the way. And now they're finally hit. You said it the start of this year. We are going to win the Scudetto this year. They won the Scudetto this year. So whatever they've had this plan for years. They've foreseen it 15 years in the future. While the other clubs, I feel, are living more in the now, the moment, because they're under a lot more pressure to make quick fixes. Let's say Juve, for example. Things are not working out with Allegri. What do we do? Zidane. Who knows if Zidane's going to work? Maybe the players don't work with Zidane. And then you just have to restart the cycle all over again. Like, I'm sorry I'm using Juve for an example, Nick, but it's the perfect one right now.
No, that's fair.
It's okay, you're allowed. You're the champions of Italy. You're allowed, Carm.
Yeah, so I'm not used to this position. I feel like I have to apologize.
Yeah. That's amazing.
But stuff
now, let's not be bullies.
I'm just saying, like there's a plan in place, and other teams probably do have a plan in place, but there's something along the way that's not working well. Napoli just has a well-oiled machine, and I think within the next, going to the Scudetto question, like I'd say 5 years, because that's the window you have with Kvaratskhelia. Osimhen's gone in 2, maybe.
Apparently, Osimhen has been. But speaking of which, just sorry to interrupt, Karim. Just pause for a second. There was a rumor that was released today that De Laurentiis already commenced contract renewal with Osimhen. So,
yeah.
But anyways, but for now, it still stands as 2.
It still stands as, I'd say, about 1 to 2 years. Let's just hypothetically speaking.
Yeah.
Right within that window, I think they can win 2 more.
Jesus. Okay.
Yeah, I mean.
So what's? Yeah, sorry, Pete. Go ahead.
No, if you look at the way Napoli did it the first time under Maradona, they kind of their owner at the time, you could say, kind of sold their soul, and he threw all this money in. He got 2 Scudetto and UEFA Cup out of it, but he went bankrupt himself. The team went bankrupt, but this time ADL has done it over. It's been a slow burn over 20 years. Napoli doesn't have to sell anybody. And that's why we can, afford to keep Osimhen for as long as he's willing to play for Napoli. And after the Heroes celebration he received, everyone rushed the field to him. And, I'm sure you guys all saw the pictures after they won the Scudetto. And even the one on Sunday of him going out the entrance in the Maradona, like I'm sure he knows that winning in Napoli is not like winning anywhere else. Hell, we're dragging this out. How many weeks now of celebration? There we go. That's like a awareness.
There it is.
But it's especially I guess bringing up some of my old Milan fanness, like. Winning the Scudetto it almost felt like a birthright. Like, oh, of course we're going to win. Or Milan, but winning and with Napoli, it's just, you have to earn whatever you get. And Osimhen's going to be a legend for the rest of his life and even past his life in Napoli forever. So I think that's part of why players might, because you look at Maradona. He's a god in Naples. Where else does that happen?
Yeah, nowhere. Just a quick question for you guys, Carmen and Pete. Johnny kind of brought it up in his when he was talking before about the different eras of Napoli teams that kind of led up to this point. Where do you guys rank this Napoli squad, this Napoli team in terms, like, I don't want to start comparing player for player, but just as a whole, I mean, this is a Scudetto winning team. Where does this rank in terms of squads? And I guess I'll throw in the coach in there, because Spalletti, and I know Carm has been on the show before and spoke highly of Spalletti, and we've had discussions about it in the past, how much of an integral part he had in all of this as well. But Pete, I'll let you go first. Where do you kind of rank this squad overall in I guess in Napoli history?
Napoli history. I mean, the team overall, I say has to be number one. Obviously, Maradona's above, the number one above all. but and he did have some very good players around him, but that team is very much viewed as Maradona's team. This team now that won, obviously you have your, you can name, I guess, the big three of Victor, Kvara, and Kim, but it was very much won by a team. There was a point where Victor was out for a stretch. There was a point where Kvara was out for a stretch and not playing fantastically even when he was on, and other players stepped up. So as far as team-wise, I'd say this is probably the best team Napoli's ever had.
I think it's fair.
Yeah, that's a fair statement. I'm trying to think. I'm placing it in my head because I'm thinking, okay, well, we're going to Maradona's days. Maradona, Careca, Giordano, Kroll.
Kroll was before Maradona.
Oh, he was. Yeah, you're right. Alemão then. Like solid players, but Pete's right. It was like Maradona and the rest. Right, that's kind of just how it was formatted. Then I'm thinking about 2018. 2018, they had a phenomenal team. They had a phenomenal team from front to back. They had a phenomenal team. I mean, Koulibaly was one of the best center backs in the world at that time. Yeah, the front three, Insigne, Mertens, right wing Callejon, right? I'm getting that.
Callejon, yeah.
Amazing front three. Midfield, Jorginho, Hamsik, Alan. Like that was, but the caveat in that team is that you had Marco Rog and like Diawara coming off the bench. So you had
if they made it off the bench, if Saudi wanted them off the bench.
So you had your 11, amazing starting 11, and then a couple guys.
Mm-hmm.
So now, with that in mind, I think I'm going to have to agree with Pete with number one, because Napoli's front, there have been better, like front threes. I think the Mertens, Insigne, Callejon front three was a little bit better than this one.
What about the Cavani, Lavezzi, Hamsik? I know that's top. I know.
If we're talking about front three, they're one of the best. I'm sorry to interrupt, Carm, but that back line during those years were.
Campagnaro, Cannavaro, and Aronica, yeah.
Jesus.
And then you had Zuniga.
It was that team was just vibes. I missed that team though. They were
no stress, just vibes.
With Walter Mazzari, it was just straight it was the best. The best.
You always knew what time it was.
Yeah, you knew they were a bad team, but they were so fun to watch. I don't know what it was.
They worked hard. They were
they did. They were workhorses. Then you had Idler in the midfield, fantastic midfielder.
Oh yeah, Gökhan Idler was great.
Yeah,
oh my god.
In the midfield, Gargano, yeah, like. Then off the bench you have like El Kaddouri coming off this.
I mean, we had at least in the back end there was Raul Albiol. At least Albiol was in the back.
Yeah. But anyways, as I was saying,
Oh wait, Albiol came afterwards.
Yeah,
he was part of the sale from Cavani for the.
You're thinking of Miguel Barrios.
Yeah.
He was terrible.
Oh man, Yitzo and net. Okay, anyways.
Yitzo man.
DeSantis. Oh man.
I know, what a name.
Morgan DeSantis.
Dragon Ball Datalo?
Fuck.
Oh my god.
I have the jersey. Was Marco Donadel on that team?
Yeah. Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Oh man.
My favorite player, Manuel
Blasi. Legend.
Jesus Christ, these names.
Yeah, I just found a German Denny's jersey in my closet like a couple of days ago, which is unbelievable. But anyways, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, so the front three, like you've had other front threes, Hamsik, Lavezzi, Mertens, Cavani, Mertens, Insigne, Callejon. Like those are like, I think those are my top two front threes. And then Kvaratskhelia, Osimhen. If you started the front three with those two and had somebody else at right wing, I think that would have been the best front three. But because our right wing is kind of lacking with Lozano and Politano, it brings them down a notch. But looking at the whole team as a whole, you have Ndombele coming off the bench, Raspadori coming off the bench, Simeone coming off the bench.
That's the difference maker right there.
It's a big because Oliveira coming off the bench. Because you, as an opponent's team, like You just had to deal with Victor Osimhen for 70 minutes. Tough game as a center back. And then who comes on? Giovanni Simeone. Like, it's another starting striker coming on off the bench with fresh legs. You're a midfielder. You're tired. You have to mark Anguissa all day. And then guess what happens? Who comes on? Ndombele. Technical, like really, really good midfielder. If he had a little bit more speed, he'd be probably one of the best midfielders in the world. Like, these are tough. These are tough to play against. It plays a mind game on you too. With all this considered, they're number one. They are for sure.
Do you guys have a MVP from the season? I know you were just saying it was a team effort. If you had to give
Lobotka.
Yeah.
You Carm yourself.
Tommy Starace. No.
Yeah.
That guy deserved that Scudetto. MVP.
What was he? Was he part of the organization during the Maradona days? He was.
Yep.
Yeah.
Does he have
pictures of him? It's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Was he? He won the first. He was part of the team that won the first Scudetti too. So
he was there before Maradona was there.
Yep. Mm-hmm. He was there since the early
Crazy.
80s. I think even the 70s, late 70s, early 80s. Like, he's been there even when they were in Serie B, Serie C. Like, he was always there.
That's the grind. That's the grind.
Yeah. And he travels 80 kilometers every day to get to work.
I mean, what other team is going to give their kitman his own special entrance during the Scudetto celebration?
Exactly.
That's almost and for the players that they're the ones that they're out of all the ones, he was the one that everyone was the most excited for.
Yeah. MVP though, Kim.
So Pete says Lobotka, Carm, Kim, Johnny.
I'm gonna have it's a cop out, but I'm gonna have to put the guy who puts the balls in the back of the net, Osimhen. I think Osimhen a healthy Osimhen was deadly in the league. He finally got a winger that was gonna service him the ball in Kvaratskhelia, and look at the damage that he did. He definitely showcased why he should be considered a top striker in Europe. Like, I'm not saying, like, I would say argue top 10 strikers in Europe for sure. You can make a case for top 5. I wouldn't go there yet, but the fact that he showcased, okay, look, I'm one of the best in Europe. I'm top in Italy. Come get me, bro, type of thing.
Notice how we had an MVP in every category, like defense, midfield, and forward.
And you know what? And Carm, you know what? I'm gonna throw a curveball, and I know I'm not the Napoli fan here. I am the Milan fan, but I'm gonna throw the curveball, and I'm gonna put Spalletti because I was, and you know what? I'll put my hands up, and I was a bit guilty saying Spalletti. Not to say I doubted him completely. Would I think he'd be able to do what he did? Sorry, guys, and maybe you guys thought otherwise. I don't know, but at the end of last year, going into this season, Spalletti to stabilize the team, yes. To do what they've done this year, the best team in Italy, one of the better teams across Europe. No, I couldn't say that. So I think what I've always told Carm every time he's been on the show, I think Spalletti, even being a northerner, really embraced the southern Italian environment, especially the Neapolitan one, because he obviously bleeds Florentine, but I think he has a little bit of extra blood that spills out Neapolitan, and he just really bought into the system in Naples. And I think, in my personal opinion, just looking on the outside in from this whole Campionato, he's not only stabilized the team, but got everyone to buy in and produce on all fronts, and having guys that can have top seasons from top to bottom, like you said, Carm, from an attacking perspective, a midfield perspective, a defensive perspective. And you know what, guys, even your goalies, because even a guy like Meret that was always obviously had the talent, and I think obviously when Ospina was there, definitely got that second fiddle type of action, but really emerged this season. A guy like Golini coming in last second, okay, but I mean, for Meret too, I think he definitely had a better season than probably most expected. But I don't know if you guys agree with the Spalletti comment, but I know Carm does. Pete, I just maybe your opinion on Spalletti.
No, I mean, yeah, when they first signed him, I thought it was the safe pick. I wasn't super excited about it, but yeah, I mean, I completely agree. He's definitely embraced the Neapolitan I guess culture or lifestyle.
Culture,
however
everything.
you want to put it. Yeah, I mean, it's funny even at the celebration at the stadium. He said, "Napoli must be the city of miracles if you allow me to win this Scudetto." So it's that's a very Neapolitan comment to self-deprecate yourself like that. So Spalletti is. I agree 100% with what you said.
If you noticed in years past too, I could be imagining this too, but I remember when he would coach Inter and when he coached Roma a while back, when he would on the off season when somebody would ask where would you like to coach at? He'd say Napoli. He would always be on that boat. Yeah, I'd like to go coach there one day. I remember when he was with Inter, he did it. He's yeah, I want to go coach there one day. It'd be fun to go and go in the south of Italy and coach and all that sort of stuff. I think he's always had that in his head to go down there and get the opportunity, and he took his opportunity. He really made a statement for himself there. But I think he's always had that that mentality where he always wanted to go eventually in any part of his career to go and coach Napoli.
I just hope that in the future Spalletti just kind of gets used to a bit of a rotation. That's my only worry. The team towards the end of the year, you saw the gas was starting to wear off just a little bit. Obviously, it's obviously it's not like a fully on Spalletti thing. He has to do what he has available to him, and like Simeone being injured towards the end and whatnot. Osimhen, especially in the Milan game, not being available doesn't help him out either. But still, players do eventually get ran to the ground, and just hope that in the future he, especially now that he's finally won his first ever league title in his career, understands that if he wants this to continue happening, he needs to come up with new ideas and be or just not run the same 11. Because don't do the Allegri thing where every game is a different 11 starting 11.
No,
but every once in a while, give Kavisha a bit of a rest, or give Victor a bit of a rest, just
or Di Lorenzo.
The other
thing, Di Lorenzo too.
Yeah, we bought Berezzinski. We just never used him. He played one game. He's a decent center back. Right back.
The guy from Samp?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I wasn't even aware he plays for Napoli now.
Yeah,
he played
on the bench for Napoli.
That's the swap, no?
He's a Scudetto winner.
Mm-hmm.
So he plays right bench.
Plays right bench.
Yeah, right bench. On Instagram, Danny from your friend Carm, Danny Del Grossi, he did send us a message to just say what it means to him. He said, that means everything to me as a fan. Hopefully, there's many more to come. Nice and simple. And first thing I saw when I opened Instagram was Genoa is coming back up to Serie. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because Genoa was the other club that came up with Napoli and Juventus to Serie in 2007.
Yep.
So since then, every single season in Serie, except for one now for Genoa, and 10 Scudetti, 4 or 5 Coppa Italia combined, maybe 6. I don't know off the top of my head between those teams, but that's the past. Napoli now is going to look towards the future. Guys, what do you want to see from this team in the summer in terms of transfers, in terms of reinforcements? Obviously, there's been all this talk already about Osimhen going to England. Obviously, Kvara is worth a lot of money now. Napoli could easily flip him for a lot. I don't think that's going to happen. What do you guys make of all these rumors, and what do you want to see for the club?
I guess I'll start. So first things first is stabilize the team. Get your core guys down packed and sign new contracts with them. Napoli made a lot of money this year off the Champions League and winning a Scudetto, so they can afford to increase the budget a little bit on the wages that they pay them. So keep Osimhen for 1 or 2 more years. Kvaratskhelia, he's good. You don't have to worry about him. I don't think he's going to leave. And if an offer comes in, I don't think they're going to accept it anyways, no matter what the dollar amount value is. And De Laurentiis said it too. He came out. He's like, yeah, you put an offer, I'm not going to take it because we've built something here, and we're not just going to let it go for free now. Well, not for free, but whatever. With that being said, you need to find a Vice Lobotka. You need to find because Diego Dem is cool, whatever, but he's not up to par. I don't think anymore to Lobotka's level. He kind of fell off. So finding one more midfielder, like or maybe two, like a Vice Lobotka and a Vice Anguissa, because Ndombele was like that Vice Anguissa role, but we're not signing him for 30 million. So you got to look around and find someone to slot in that role. I thought of a couple people like Fratesi would be like he's all right, but like someone like that or in Serie A. Then for sure a right winger. You need a right winger. I'd sell Lozano this year because now his market value is increased a little bit. You can get some money out of Lozano and spend it to buy who I would want is that kid from Sassuolo.
Loriente.
No. What's that?
Loriente. Loriente. Yeah.
Him was come to me. Him. Yeah. I'd go out and spend on him. Or because you can get him easily for 20, 25. Not much more than that. Like that would be a great pick. Also stimulate the buyout clause for Raspadori, pay Sassuolo for him too. I think Simeone also has a buyout clause.
The same thing. Yeah.
So yeah, buy them both out. On the off chance that Victor goes, you're covered. You have Raspadori, Simeone as your strikers now. It works. Then, once you have that all said and done, this team is good to go. I mean, goalies, Merit Golini, they're good. They can still play. You have Oliveira, Rui, good. You have two great left backs. One Jesus, Ostigard, Kim, and Ramani. That's a solid 4 center back combo between all 4 of them. And some Ostigard's still young, so you get some years out of him. So yeah, that's all you need. Just a couple midfielders, a right wing, re-sign some of the guys, and go for another Scudetto.
Pete, you?
I mean, the immediate need that comes to mind, like Carr mentioned, is right wing. I like Lookman from Atalanta. That's the guy I would do if I was ADL. But I think the biggest thing, and we'll see how it turns out, is keeping Giuntoli. I don't want to see him go to Juventus, but just to see what he's built and the players that he's brought in for not a lot of money. Now, granted, ADL has had people that have done a similarly good job with him before Giuntoli got there, but Giuntoli was the man that was there when we won the Scudetto. So, if you can figure out a way to get him to stay, I think that's going to be almost as important as keeping like Victor or Kvara.
I think also, guys, I know Peter said it before quickly there, but I guess maybe even, and I know the Berzinski, project didn't really pan out so far, not many minutes at all, so you can't really judge. But I think another right back for you guys, I think, would be another thing to look at, like maybe like a serious backup right back, because I mean Di Lorenzo can only play so much, I think, and this has been. And I know we've spoken with both of Raf and Raf from the Napoli run before, and I know that's come up in conversation as well from episodes in the past. And I mean, Di Lorenzo is an engine and he does everything well, but I don't know, man. Like I don't know if you guys agree.
Well, you have that.
Like, there's somebody else that needs to come in.
You have that young guy Zanoli who you loaned out to Sampdoria.
Is that coming back, or how's that working?
He's coming back. It was just
okay.
Yeah, it was just a half-year loan. I honestly didn't watch any Sampdoria games, but I read that he apparently wasn't pressing, and I did like him before he got loaned out. So,
okay.
I don't know if you decide to loan him out another year, maybe you got to do something else with that. But I do think he is going to be our future right back at some point.
Okay, sorry, I didn't realize that. So then, perfect. So at least you have somebody young, Italian, can work through the system. That I think that would do well. Just talking about the future. Actually, no, sorry, Johnny. We didn't get your thoughts on what to What to fix?
I mean, honestly speaking, I think the only thing I would say different than what was said before is that I'm different. I think differently. I'm not as confident in the center back situation for Napoli as others are.
Okay.
Like one thing that I realized and respected a lot with Milan is that they can just start off anybody between Tomori, Kalulu, Kier, Shaw, and they have a great next man up mentality, especially when you play with a 4-man back line. And since Napoli does do that, I mean, personally speaking, without Kim, I don't have any faith in Rahmani and Ostigard. Like I don't. That's just me. That's just me personally on their own because of previous experiences with Rahmani and stuff. So like, I would like to see an upgrade there, a little bit of a bolstering there, because the right back situation is a bit of a question mark. I mean, you could go with what you have right now and give it a shot because it wasn't showcased as much this year. So is it really a problem? We don't know because none of the other players got a chance to play and showcase if they were actually good enough to be a Di Lorenzo replacement or not, or like a temporary patch. You know what I'm saying? Right wing, obviously, between Lozano and Politano, just like people were saying shouts, play Raspadori. That would be cool. That would be cool. But having both Raspadori and Simeone to come off on the bench at any moment to bolster that offense is great already. So that's fine. One thing I do worry about, I don't know if it is happening because Zielinski's been one of the longest tenured Napoli players right now. And it's more along the lines of, is he interested in staying longer? Or now that he finally achieved a league title, is he looking elsewhere? Now, there's been no talks about it. I'm not trying to start things right now where people are gonna be like, "Oh, like I'm just a guy sitting in this chair back home in Montreal. Like I'm just thinking out loud here." If Zielinski starts looking elsewhere and stuff, that's a very big player that needs to be replaced. That's a very huge hole that's gonna. So maybe start considering that as a possibility of like a position that needs to be filled. Besides that, there's not much I can see that needs to be worked on for now. For now.
He's my favorite player. I don't want to see him go.
I don't want to see him go either.
Yeah, he's my favorite player.
He's been consistent.
Guys, I want to ask you, Carmen, you were kind of saying it before, how happy you were, tears down your eyes, this and that. What means more, this Scudetto or Italy winning the Euros 2 years ago, or even Italy winning the World Cup?
Well, Italy winning is nice, but the Scudetto takes it, man.
The Scudetto over World Cup?
Yeah.
Scudetto over World Cup. He's a true Neapolitan.
Yeah.
You agree, Peter?
Yep.
I mean, I always have faith that Italy has a shot.
Yeah.
At a World Cup or a Euro. I don't always have that faith with Napoli.
That's fair.
So the Scudetto means a lot more. Like in my lifetime, I've already seen Italy win a World Cup and Euro before I even saw a Scudetto. It goes to tell you like how often this happens. So yeah, the Scudetto easily for me. If it's Champions League though, it's a bit different. Yeah. Champions League.
That's the pinnacle.
I would trade it for Champions League.
Yeah. I think any of us would with our clubs.
All right.
Anybody would.
My answer was different though. My answer was different prior to last week. My answer would have still been Scudetto, even if the Champions League was an option. I'd always pick the Scudetto first because there's some part of me. I'm petty. Just putting it out there. I'm petty.
Okay.
I cannot go any longer about hearing Milan, Juve, and Inter fans beat us down for not winning a Scudetto. So it doesn't matter if I win the Champions League or not. It doesn't matter if I'm the best club in Europe. I want to be the best club in Italy and really rub it in their face.
No, I agree. I've said that before too. If there was a season where Napoli were winning the Champions League and not the Scudetto, I'd be disappointed in the season. But now that I have the Scudetto, go ahead and win the Champions League. It's cool, man.
Carm, I kind of feel like the opposite as you, where you're tired of hearing other fans talking about Napoli not winning the Scudetto. So I'm tired of hearing other fans talking about Juve with the Champions League. So if obviously I'd be so happy to see Juve win a Champions League, but as long as an Italian team isn't winning one, I'm happy too. As long as we're all even put.
As long as we're all bad together.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody has to cry together.
But Juventus have that beautiful Champions League song that we all love so much.
Come mai,
la Champions League tu non la vinci mai.
Oh
my God, we're such bullies. Poor Nick.
Okay.
What a life.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm laughing.
Listen, you have to beat up on the big dog sometimes.
Yeah.
You don't have a choice. But speaking about Champions League, guys, it's kind of, for me at least, it was a good segue because I kind of had that question in mind. And, two Napoli guys on tonight. Napoli obviously went, in my personal opinion, and I think all the Italian teams kind of went further than expected, in my personal opinion, in Champions League this season. Obviously had a great run for Napoli. Doing well in the group, doing well outside the group, getting all the way to the quarters. Obviously a big feat. I had seen clips of the of ADL speaking in the CBS interview there that he had there post match there, and obviously all the targets that Carm kind of brought up before of winning the Scudetto and kind of those checkbox kind of being checked. The Champions League, I think, question kind of came into that. Going forward, guys, and I know we just had this whole Scudetto Champions League, what would you prefer talk, but is Napoli close to kind of recreating what they did this year and kind of continuing to go further in the Champions League, going forward, or is it not really in like arm's reach, and it was kind of a one-off season? I don't know what you guys think about the Champions League going forward.
Honestly, I kind of lean towards more that it might have been. This is probably going to be our best chance to ever win it.
Okay.
Napoli aren't a surprise anymore. If any of the big teams they see that they have Napoli in the next round, they know they're gonna have to have their A game. Now I'm not saying it can't happen, but just when you start to get to those end, the quarterfinals, semifinals, the Man Cities. Hopefully, we can start to say the Milans, the Inters, the Napolis, the Bayern Munichs, the Real Madrids. You have to be, all 11 perfect the entire game, and so that's tough. I do think that it's because they didn't get it this year. It's just going to get harder.
Okay, Carm, you?
Yeah, Pete's right. Like this year, I think was kind of more of a surprise to everyone that Napoli did so well in the Champions League. Yeah, and that's kind of it worked in our favor because Napoli does really well when they're viewed as the underdogs. Because when they're viewed as the team that's in favor, they always play down to the level of the opponent that is supposed to be the underdog, and then it just never works out in their favor. So when Napoli plays in the Champions League now this year, went up against Liverpool, like not the strongest Liverpool, but it's Liverpool.
Still Liverpool, yeah,
and beat them 4-1. You go up against Ajax. Ajax is not a nothing team. They have European trophies to their name too, and they're a strong team in the Netherlands. Beat them on aggregate like 10-2 on aggregate, like just blew them out of the water. The Rangers didn't have a chance, didn't have a hope in hell or whatever for any of those games. So then you go on, you play Frankfurt. Frankfurt won the Europa League the year prior. Not a nothing team. Like Frankfurt's a tricky team. Didn't even matter. It was like Frankfurt wasn't even playing those two games. Wiped the floor with them. And then okay, so everyone's like, all right, like they don't probably taking Napoli as the underdog, and now we come to the Milan game, and that's what I was afraid of. A lot of people were saying like, Milan is it's an easy draw. Like you play them all the time. You should know, but it's not an easy draw. It's not an easy draw at all because you play them all the time. They study you religiously. The other teams don't have a chance to study you. I'd much rather play Benfica because Benfica has Porto and Sporting and whatever in their own league to worry about. They won't have enough time to study you. Milan had already played a game against Napoli. They probably already reviewed the tapes and Pioli planned for it. And fuck, did he ever plan for it? Because he shut Napoli down. He just took everyone out of the game. And that's when you get a draw in the Champions League, from someone in your own league, it's the worst draw you could ever have because you know it's gonna be a tough game. I'd much rather, as bad as it would be, I'd much rather play Real Madrid because even Real Madrid sometimes you can catch them off and really shock them. So with that being said, them being the underdogs for this entire time, other teams started to take notice and started to really pay attention to Napoli and the chance that they would have to play them eventually. But now that's gone, and you're looking for the next season, teams in the Champions League are going to spend the entire summer, and even after the draw, whoever gets them, they're going to spend that entire time studying Spalletti's Napoli and learning how to shut them down, a la Pioli, like how they did with Milan. So it's going to be a lot tougher from here on out. Will they do it again? It's possible. They might make the quarterfinals, sure. Will they make the finals? Yeah. This was their best chance.
Okay.
I honestly think that if they want to get there, if they want to be that type of team to go compete in Champions League, first of all, they don't have the influx like all these major teams do. If you notice, what helps all these bigger teams is that they get the massive fan base around the world to continuously give them an influx of revenue from jersey sales, from merchandise, whatever. That kind of helps them reinvest that into players, even though it does put them a bit in a debt. It kind of help. Well, it's an exception of teams like any of the German teams because they have like this type of like fan and management split. But and teams that are just basically management owned, a lot of them go into massive debts to continue fight for the trophy, but they know that they're able to recuperate that in the near future. Napoli can't do that as whatever stride they're picking up, it's never going to reach those heights. Never. So if they do want to compete in that, they're going to have to be smart with purchases and really bolster that bench with surprise findings that they have been doing to continue pay off for them. And then afterwards, once they have a deep enough bench, maybe they can make a run. But it's not going to be something that's consistent. It's going to have to be something that's going to have to be like perfectly planned and strike at the right time for it. It's not going to be something that, we got a window of 5 years to do it. We got a window of 10. Like, no, you won't have that gap. It's going to be like, you have to wait for that one right moment. Like Luke Skywalker in episode 4, you just got to make sure you get them right there. So I think what realistically it is for Napoli is that keep focusing on domestic levels to find success. Keep on, adapting to the league and try to maintain your spot at the top that you have right now. Keep building that momentum, make a name for yourself, build up on that success. And then from there, once you build up a bit of momentum, then look elsewhere. Because like I said, that's such a big fish. That's such a big catch that, yes, if you catch it, holy hell. But sometimes it's better to go for the, I guess for lack of a better term, I'm not calling the Scudetto a small trophy, but I say like the small little things, like get multiple small little things instead of aiming for that one big thing, because the small little things add up. Yeah, that one big cash in is great, but it's better to build up slowly. So the Champions League, cool. It'd be awesome. I would love for Napoli to win a Champions League. It would be awesome, but at this point, just focus on continuing creating an era of dominance. Create it. Don't, like, if you're at the top, try to maintain it.
By the way, Napoli wasn't the only team out of this group. I don't know how to English this, but I don't know how to say this. Only team from people in this group of our origins that actually won something this season. Campobasso got promoted to Serie D. Adri, that's where your family's from. Akragas got promoted to Serie D. That's where my family's from. So we all got a reason to celebrate here.
We're reaching tonight, guys. We're really reaching.
Eccellenza champions, same thing, right?
It's the same thing, yeah.
Tomato. Yeah. We're reaching tonight, guys. I'm sorry. But, guys, I don't know. Johnny, did you have anything else? I don't know.
Honestly,
I wanted one quick other thing, and it's kind of like a game, and I'm stealing it from TLN because I saw the boys there, TLN, do it. All-time Napoli team. I don't know if Karma. I don't know if you saw it, the team that they put out, but maybe we don't have to do an all-time Napoli squad, full 11. If you guys want, you can. Maybe a Calcio team, a five-a-side team. Who would you guys put just to wrap this off on a little bit of a fun note? Who would be your guys' five-a-side Napoli edition teams?
Pete, you want to go first?
Maradona.
Pete's thinking.
It's like the South Korean team just all over. Kim.
I do feel like having Maradona in it is kind of for your five-a-side is kind of cheating.
Yeah, so let's try make a team excluding Maradona.
Okay.
2000s edition.
No,
okay, guys.
Whatever touches your heart. I don't know.
Luigi Vitale, Aronica.
Morgan De Sanctis.
We're gonna go with the pure Napolitani. Insigne, Paolo Cannavaro. We're gonna go with
Guardiola.
We are gonna go with the best Napoli striker of all time, Michu.
If you go all time, you have to put Dino Zoff in nets.
Yeah, that's right. Zoff did play for Napoli. Mm-hmm. I was gonna put Reina, but
all right. So five-a-side, does that? So one of them is a goalie then?
Yeah, one of them's a goalie, and then you have your four outfield players.
Dino Zoff, my goalie.
Okay.
Kroll as my defender.
All right.
Zielinski as my midfielder, and then I'm gonna have Mertens and
Tough.
I want to say Victor, but Victor. All right, I'll say Victor then. So that's my five-a-side.
All right.
I'm just writing it out here. So I can't count.
You can't count. You can only count to three, right, Carm? You can only count to three.
It's 5 and a goalie, so it's 6, right? So 5 and a goalie. That's what I'm.
No, it's goalie plus 4.
Oh, goalie plus 4. Okay.
But on the outfield players, I mean, Peter put a defender, midfield, and 2 attackers. You can do it however you please.
Okay. So, Zoff in goal.
Okay.
Koulibaly as one of my defenders. In the midfield, Hamsik. Striker is Mertens. And then one more midfielder.
Attacker or whoever.
Oh, maybe an attacker. I'm stuck on this last one. So many good to pick from.
You could have Jorginho and have Hamsik be your second attacker.
I guess I could, right?
A little assist by Peter.
Yeah, that's a good one. I do want to
put Peter on the.
I do want to put another defender.
I'll be the coach of the five-a-side.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah. So Zoff, Koulibaly, Hamsik, Cavani, Mertens. That's my two.
Cavani. Ooh.
Beautiful.
That's nice. Gianni.
I'm going with besides besides Zoff in the back, like one of my personal favorites, like guys I've watched throughout the years, it's gonna be basically the trio of I'm going like no D. I'm going the trio of Lavezzi, Hamsik, and Cavani with Insigne there. As much as I love all the a lot of the players on this squad, those guys have deep spots in my heart, and I'm just going with personal favorites. Skill wise, obviously, there's better players to put than others, but for these guys have just brought me so many happy moments. And I'm not saying that Kvaratskhelia and Osimhen and other players have not done the same, but like I said, there was others that came before that got to Napoli where they are today.
And between the sticks, you're putting Pepe Reina.
I'm putting Zoff.
Zoff?
It's easy. I'm putting Zoff.
You're putting Zoff.
Reina, like I always liked Reina, but I was never like, oh my God, Pepe Reina. I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah, but Zoff is Zoff. Zoff is
a legend. Zoff is a legend.
Yeah, I was gonna pick Reina too, but I forgot Zoff played.
And coach, besides Peter's assistant coach, who you guys putting as coach all time?
Maso.
Coach is Spalletti.
Spalletti.
In terms of okay, he didn't have a great time with the team, but in terms of status, Ancelotti, I
mean,
no.
What a loophole! That's a loophole. That.
I'm gonna go Rafa Benitez for my coach.
Benitez is a great shout.
Okay.
It's a great shout. Yes, yeah.
Peter digging. All right.
Sorry, took all the credit for Rafa Benitez's team.
He kind of did. Benitez set the groundwork for Saturday. The players he signed, yeah, that's a great shout.
So, Carm, you too, Benitez?
No, I'm still
going.
Spalletti he's won a Scudetto. I mean, he has to be.
That's a good point.
And Gianni?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Spalletti on this. It's true. He actually got the league title to Napoli than other coaches that came behind. Why is my cat running around like crazy? Okay, sorry, my cat just randomly got the zoomies.
Still celebrating the Scudetto.
There you go. But we all know Maradona would be 5 times over in all these squads, guys.
Oh, 100%.
Dios is above all, obviously. Just seeing Milan win last year, all the celebrations to see, to have now see the celebrations in Naples. I mean, it's just seeing cities alive and full of passion in Italy. Obviously, when it hits home a bit harder, where you have relation to the city, it obviously hits home. It hits a bit another heartstring there, but I don't think Naples is going to sleep for another. I can't even put a timetable on it because I don't even know when they're going to stop celebrating. But they've deserved 4th. It. January 4th.
No, sorry, June 4th when they lift the
June
cup.
4th.
Yeah.
Guys, any plans of going to Naples? Is that on the radar for any of you guys, or?
No, I'm staying here. We got Tri-State has some plans we're trying to do for the last game of the season. So,
Carm, yourself?
I was supposed to go. I don't know if I'm going to be able to go anymore, but
okay.
A lot of the guys from the Napoli club are going to watch the last game.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So, guys, on that note, we just want to really thank you guys for your time tonight. I know we kind of were all over the place with questions and thoughts and feelings and whatnot in discussions, but we honestly can't thank you guys enough. You guys, we want to congratulate you guys once again for winning the Scudetto. It was very well merited. I can officially, I guess, hand you guys over the Scudetto as a Milan fan, handing it over to Napoli. But yeah, guys, seeing that you guys are obviously part of your fan clubs in your cities. Peter, I'll start with you. Just again, a big thanks to you just for jumping on. I know it was very, very last minute. We appreciate your time. I know this was the first time, maybe not the best of intros, but at the same time, we can't thank you enough for your time and for your stories and just for your analysis on everything. Where can people find you, the club that you're part of, and anything that's going forward for Tri-State Napoli?
So you can find me personally at babysquid_1926. And you can find the club at I should know the club.
You should know this. You should know this.
You can find the club at try_Napoli club, and that's the same for Instagram and Twitter.
And I see, obviously, you're wearing the Tri-State Napoli shirt tonight, Peter. You guys are still those stills are still going out. I saw you guys have the Scudetto shirts.
Yeah, Scudetto. Yep, the Scudetto shirts. I think like tomorrow is the last day. So
okay, so get them while they're hot.
Yeah,
hot off the press.
I gotta get it. Thanks for reminding me. I didn't know tomorrow was the last day.
especially for those in the States. Italian sizes are a little too. We have bigger sizes for you here for our club.
You guys thought ahead. Smart guys. You know what? We had Gaetano on not too long ago, Peter, and just a great thing you guys got going out there. Honestly, we really got to give you guys your flowers because a new club coming through the ranks among fan clubs of certain teams, and you guys have really done a lot in a short amount of time. So just on our behalf, we want to really give you your flowers and all the hard work that you guys do over there. It really not only does something for your club in Napoli, But I think as for Seria as a whole, especially here across the pond, North America, it's really doesn't go unnoticed for all the hard work you guys do. So congratulations for everything that you guys have accomplished up until this point, Peter.
I appreciate that. That really means a lot. It's hard work, but it's worth it. Also, thanks for asking Gaetano my dumbass question when he was on. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. We couldn't miss it. Yeah, Carm, obviously you've been on the show before, but the floor is always yours, my friend. We've become so close by doing all these shows together, by being in contact for so many, it seems like a couple of years now, and so many times over.
Yeah.
We love you as a brother, and honestly, congratulations once again. Where can people find you if they're continuously living under a rock, and where can they find not only yourself but the club that you're El Presidente of?
For the nth time now.
Exactly.
No, I'm joking. It's always a pleasure to be on here. So I actually should have written this down for the people who are watching this. But my is at @Tida_Tifoso on Twitter. The Napoli Club is at Napoli Club TO on Twitter. And then if you just type in Napoli Club Toronto on Instagram, we'll pop up there. We also have Scudetto shirts coming. Actually, they are done. We just haven't put the design out. I guess we'll just kind of unofficially unveil it right now. Sure, why not, right?
Why not?
Exclusive on the Calcio Guys.
Ooh,
beautiful.
Look at that.
It's a nice one.
Yeah. So we have.
Wait,
that.
keep it there again. Let me see it.
Sure.
We're gonna have to make a little bit of a clip of this or something. Could we do that?
Adrian, it's a short preview. People have to pay.
Preview.
They have to pay for more.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
We're getting paid for this.
Wait, you guys get paid?
Yeah. So Napoli Club Toronto on Instagram, website, of course, Napoli Club Toronto. Everything's the same. We have some stuff planned for the last game and for a party in June. Not a party. It's a party. It's an event in June, mid-June.
Okay.
All that information will be coming out shortly for all that stuff. The shirts should be released tomorrow officially for purchase. So yeah.
So guys, if you miss out on Tri-State Napoli shirts, you guys go get the Napoli Cup Toronto shirts. It's all in the same, guys.
Yeah, exactly. And like Pete said, the sizes are a bit snug, for guys like myself. So, if you need something a little bit looser, then we got your back on that.
Before Adriano does his spiel, I just want to say thank you guys. It's always a pleasure talking to obviously
Truly.
Always a pleasure talking to you, Carm, and it's a pleasure to talk to you for the first time, Peter. And of course, we'll have to keep in contact. We'll have to have you on again, where you're the star of the show in the future when next time we want to talk Napoli. Obviously, I don't like your team from a sporting point of view, but obviously I'm happy for you guys. Obviously, I'm happy for my cousin Gianni. So congrats again on the Scudetto. Enjoy it because, Carm, what you're describing, all the happiness, this and that, it reminds me a bit of, when I saw at least the Habs get to the Stanley Cup final 2 years ago. And I know if the day comes or I get to see the Habs win a Stanley Cup, I'll be over the moon. It'll probably be the same thing that you're feeling. So I'm a bit envious. I'm a bit envious of that too, Carm. But no, seriously, congrats. Once again, thanks again for coming on. Absolute, you guys are gems.
Thank you
so much.
Johnny, any other more flowers you want to give these two beauties?
No, you guys, they're awesome guys. They know it. I tell them all the time. They have crowns on their head, even though you don't see them. It's metaphoric. They do a great job for the Napoli community, and I love seeing the interactions on Twitter and stuff. And it just helps the fan base grow. And what they do is phenomenal, and they should just keep on doing it because it creates a massive ripple effect for everything.
Totally agree, guys. So guys, if you're not watching this, if you're not watching the replay, if you guys only tuning into this later on, guys, go give these guys a follow at Tri-State Napoli, at Napoli Cup Toronto, them personally, Peter and Carm. Like the guy said, two great individuals doing a lot for their community, but for our community as a whole as well. And that doesn't go unnoticed. So give them a follow. For us guys, before we wrap this up, we say it every week. give us a follow at the Calcio Guys. We're now live on YouTube tonight. We don't always go live, guys, but continue to follow us on YouTube as well. Subscribe, post notifications, all that good stuff for the audio version of the podcast. All your favorite podcasting platforms and on all the socials at the Calcio Guys as well. We're going to wrap this up. We're going to probably continue to chat off air here, but that's it for us this week at the Calcio Guys, and we'll be back next week to talk a lot more Calcio.
Thanks for listening.
Ciao.
Bye.